All right, let's jump right in. Whenever we talk about longevity, living that long, healthy, vibrant life, the conversation almost always revolves around what we need to add, right? We're constantly told we've got to start a new diet, start hitting the gym, start meditating, or, I don't know, start taking a dozen new supplements. But what if the real secret to a long life isn't actually about what you start doing, but rather what you absolutely must stop doing? Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating, honestly, totally counterintuitive explainer on a thesis from a 94-year-old woman named Opal June. And her big idea? She argues that dropping certain things is actually the ultimate key to survival. Okay, let's dive into this because it's a real paradigm shift. Think about society's modern obsession right now. We are completely obsessed with starting new things. We literally exhaust ourselves just piling on more goals, more routines, more everything. But Opal's focus is entirely flipped. She's looking at stopping toxic habits, the stuff quietly stealing our time and our health. She basically argues that we already have everything we need to thrive. We're just completely weighed down by the negative things we refuse to let go of. Now, you might be wondering, why should we listen to Opal June? Well, for starters, she has been walking this earth for 94 years. And let me tell you, that kind of longevity, it brings a pretty heavy perspective. She notes that over the years, she's buried her mother, her father, 3 sisters, and her husband. She's been to way more funerals than birthday parties. And over those decades, she made this really profound observation. The people who passed away early, they didn't share bad luck. They didn't even necessarily share bad genes. What they shared were bad habits. Habits they simply refused to let go of. So, to make her wisdom super easy to digest for this explainer, we've organized her key points into core life pillars: the power of stopping, protecting your physical vessel, protecting your inner peace, stopping waiting to live, and finally, the daily choice. All right, moving into section 1, protect your physical vessel, which is all about stopping late eating and sitting. So, the very first habit Opal stopped was eating after the sun goes down. Now, I know this sounds a bit old-fashioned, but as Opal puts it, and I love this phrasing, your body does its healing at night, it's cleaning, but it can't clean the house if it's still cooking dinner. Makes perfect sense, right? For years, she'd have a little late-night snack, maybe some crackers or ice cream while watching TV. But she found it left her waking up tired, with aching joints, just feeling kind of heavy in her spirit. So about 40 years ago, she just stopped entirely. By 6 or 7 p.m., she has her last bite of food. After that, just water or tea. By giving her digestive system a break, she says she woke up feeling so much lighter and clearer simply because her body could actually focus on its nighttime healing. Okay, the second physical habit we need to stop is sitting so much. Opal actually compares the human body to a creek. It's a great metaphor. Moving water stays clear, right? But still water, it gets murky, it gets sick. Now, she's not talking about hitting the gym. She's literally never been to one. She's talking about constant natural movement. Walking to the mailbox, gardening, standing up while you're on the phone, hanging laundry, the whole shebang. She draws this really stark contrast with her late husband, who basically sat in a recliner from morning until night, only getting up for the absolute basics. Tragically, he passed away at 71. Her warning here is clear and pretty urgent. Whether you're 30 or 80, if you are sitting more than you are moving, you're dying faster than you need to. Which brings us to section 2, protect your inner peace. Let's look at arguments, grudges, the news, and people-pleasing. Now, what's really interesting here is how 4 totally different behaviors all lead to the exact same outcome. They essentially act as a slow poison to our minds. Opal pinpointed these 4 specific habits as the absolute primary thieves of our inner peace. So let's break down exactly why she insists we need to drop every single one of them right now. Habit number 3 on her overall list is to stop arguing with fools. Opal actually admits she used to be a bit of a fighter. If someone said something ignorant, she felt completely compelled to correct them, to win the argument. We've all been there. But she eventually realized the sheer futility of it. People are going to believe what they want to believe. Trying to fix everybody's thinking is literally like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. All that fighting ever brought her was high blood pressure and sleepless nights, and she didn't change a single mind. Because of that realization, Opal completely redefined what it means to be wise. Wisdom isn't about overpowering someone with facts. Nope. Wisdom is smiling, nodding, and just letting it go. She views protecting your peace as being just as valuable as putting money in the bank. Why? Because every single argument you consciously choose not to have is quite literally adding years to your life by keeping your stress levels down. All right, habit number 4, stopping holding grudges. Now, this is a really tough one, but it's absolutely vital. Think of it like carrying hurt around like a heavy stone in your pocket. Opal shared this deeply personal story about a 15-year grudge. Yes, 15 years that she held against her youngest sister Loretta over a serious wrong. For a decade and a half, Opal wouldn't even speak to her or look at her. But guess what? Loretta was sleeping just fine. It was Opal who was suffering. She realized that unforgiveness acts as a poison in the body. It spikes that stress hormone, cortisol. She literally calls it a slow death. The moment she finally picked up the phone to call her sister and forgive her, Opal said she instantly felt 20 pounds lighter. Her message here is powerful. Let it go. Not for the person who hurt you, but because your body simply cannot heal what your heart refuses to release. The fifth habit to stop is watching the evening news right before bed. Just consider the contrast here. On one side, you have a mind fed with fear. We're talking murders, disasters, politicians constantly yelling. Opal used to watch all this chaos every single night and then try to go to sleep while it was all still swimming in her head. She realized that feeding your mind with fear and chaos pretty much guarantees that's exactly what your brain will chew on all night long. So now, she shuts the TV off by 5 p.m. She transitions to preparing her mind for rest, reading, praying, or just sitting on the porch watching the birds. And because of this shift, she sleeps a solid 8 hours every single night. The takeaway? What you put into your mind before rest is just as crucial as what you put into your body. Moving on to habit number 6. Stop trying to please everybody. For most of her life, Opal was a total yes woman. Church, family, neighbors, she was always there, spread completely thin. And honestly, it just left her tired, resentful, and unhappy. The really powerful realization here is that constantly saying yes to everybody else inevitably means you are saying no to yourself. Nowadays, she says no kindly but firmly. She protects her time and energy. She realized that the people who truly love you will understand your boundaries, and the people who get upset, well, they were probably just using you anyway. Okay, let's jump into section 3, stop waiting to live. This is all about the illusion of tomorrow. Let's walk through this timeline together because there's this tragic trap of deferred happiness that, let's be real, almost all of us fall into. We constantly tell ourselves we'll be happy when we finish school, right? Then when we get married, then when the kids are finally grown, then when we finally retire. But as Opal points out so beautifully, while you're waiting, life simply happens and you miss it. She and her husband talked about taking this big trip to California for 30 years. Tragically, he died just 3 months before they were supposed to go. Her best friend Dot had planned to just sit on the beach with her when they retired, but Dot never made it. It's a harsh reality check, but the future you're waiting for is an illusion. And this brings us to the 7th, and arguably the most important habit to stop. You've got to stop waiting for the right time. Tomorrow just isn't promised to anyone. Her call to action here is urgent and it's immediate. Take the trip now. Eat the good food now. Wear the nice dress today. Tell people you love them right now. Whether you are 94 or 24, the only right time you actually possess is the time you have right now, in this exact moment. Finally, section 4, the daily choice. Let's look at putting all this into practice. So the crucial point is, just knowing these things, it isn't enough. You have to actively choose to stop them. Let's do a rapid recap of Opal's life-saving list. Stop eating late, stop arguing with fools, stop sitting so much, stop holding those grudges, stop watching that poison on the evening news right before bed, stop saying yes to everybody, and please stop waiting to live. As she wisely notes, this list is simple, for sure. But simple is definitely not the same as easy. Letting go of the things that are literally killing us requires a deeply conscious choice every single day. Opal June has watched far too many people leave this world too soon. Not because life was unfair, but simply because they refused to let go of bad habits. You have so much more power and potentially so much more time than you think, but only if you actually take action. So take a hard look at your own life. What is currently stealing your time, your health, and your inner peace? And more importantly, what will you choose to stop doing today?